Good morning, everybody. It is Connor here. We are back with another One Leeds episode. We are back discussing Leeds United, what's going on in the world of Leeds United. Before we start, if you wouldn't mind liking, commenting and subscribing, we'll have Patreon episodes coming out all throughout this week, everybody. We'll be reviewing the Stoke City game, which takes place tomorrow night under the lights at Ellen Road. Last time we were under the lights, it went pretty well, didn't it? So let's hope that there is going to be a replica of that tomorrow night, because good God, it is needed. You can also become a YouTube member. £2 is all it costs per month to help with the running of the channel. Really appreciate everybody. This stuff, the One Leeds merch, will be coming out very, very soon as well. Discussions going on behind the scenes. Don't you worry about that. But let's get in to today's news, everybody. Straight away, I wanted to speak on the Stoke City game. Tomorrow night, I will be there myself. It is going to be it's a must-win game. It's a must-win game. When we're looking at the table right now, when we're looking at Leeds United's almost predicament, which in a sense it kind of is, in a sense it kind of isn't. Leeds go into tomorrow's game third in the division. Leeds go into tomorrow's game out of the top two. Ipswich able to gain that momentum back once again, where they've managed to get themselves back in there, back in with a shout. And yeah, we were speaking about it at the weekend, but they are a little bit of the dark horses at this moment in time. We've been speaking about Southampton and Leeds a lot, and Leicester. Can Leeds catch Leicester? But Ipswich have managed to do what Ipswich have done so well this season, which is just get themselves back into the conversation. And I mentioned this the other day, about the shoot on sight policy. I want to see this from Leeds a lot more. Just shooting. Let's get some shots off. A few deflections. That'd be nice, because Ipswich at this moment in time, I think, have had 12 deflected goals this season. What does that signify to me? Shoot on sight. There were too many occasions at the weekend, in my opinion, where Kamara had opportunities to shoot. The unbelievable chance Somerville had to put it in the first half. He sort of Kamara reverse passed it to him whilst he's literally in front of the goalkeeper. Somerville, the angle looked better, but in actual fact, it was easy for the goalkeeper to clamber across and make that save. A couple of other opportunities where Leeds really had a decent period. The ball was played in around about the 91st minute from Ampadu to Joel Perreault. He'd set himself aside, he peeled off the defender and then completely narrowed his own space. 2, 3, 4 touches straight back out of the box again. We need to be quicker. We need to be more incisive. And I think that's not just a criticism of this season for Leeds United. I think there has been tendencies for the Whites to overplay. You've all said it in the comment section below. I agree with a lot of you. It is just a continuous problem with Leeds where we overcomplicate aspects when literally Ipswich is a perfect example at just getting shots away. Deflections, doesn't matter how they go in. If they go in, they go in, and hopefully that'll sort of climb Leeds to the top two. I mentioned set pieces the other day. That's not something that Daniel Farker is going to have been able to work on straight off the bat, but it's something that I hope is going to start improving with Leeds United. Kieran Maguire, football finance expert, has been speaking on Leeds United recently, and he's been talking about the financial windfall that Leeds United may receive. Now, when Leeds are obviously looking to get promoted, we do not want to go through the playoffs. But when it comes to financial means, Leeds United could be better off if they do so. 50% of the revenue will go into the EFL pool, whilst 50% of it will be split between the two clubs in the final. And obviously, if you can sell more tickets, the pool is going to be split with a higher majority ticket sort of gate receipt as well, isn't it? The more tickets you sell, the more money that you're going to get, especially if it's two big clubs in the playoff final as well. I think that's, it's been sort of insinuated that if it is Leeds and West Bromwich Albion, the 50% split would be very, very nice as well. So yeah, interesting how to win the championship, you get no money, basically. You absolutely don't get any money. You've got a guarantee of Premier League football, and is that worth it in the long run, or is it worth it, getting that extra prize money and going up through the playoffs? I'm not sure my heart can take that. But yeah, interesting enough, if Leeds are to go up via the playoffs, it'll be a more lucrative deal for the Whites. £20 million. What does that signify, using that word again? Well, Joe Rodon was speaking to a Welsh publication at the weekend, and he has said that he would love to play for Leeds United in the Premier League. Yes, he was speaking about Connor Roberts as well. Connor Roberts playing for Leeds United is massive in the background. I thought Connor was excellent at the weekend. I thought he was Leeds' man of the match in terms of his impact. Gave us so much on that right-hand side when Leeds really had very little on that right-hand side. And Rodon was speaking about him and said he's made a massive difference behind the scenes and on the pitch, in terms of a really quality option. Obviously he's scored recently. He's got an assist, and he's not even started a championship game for Leeds United yet. So he's doing okay, is Connor. I'm a massive fan of him. I think, when he's come in, he's made a massive difference. I listened to the Leeds United podcast as well, the official podcast with Roberts on there, and I thought it was the best one yet. I thought he spoke really, really well, really intelligently, and gave a real balance between hard work, endeavour, and passion, but also a real high level of football IQ, which, he just wants to get on the pitch. He understands that there's people who are ahead of him right now who are playing well, but he wants to get back in that mix, and he's not had that opportunity at Burnley. So, yeah, Rodon saying that Roberts has been a fantastic addition. Obviously, there's a Welsh contingent there. They all know each other, Dan James and Ethan Ampadu, to be thrown into that as well, who are both having really good campaigns. But Rodon has broken his silence a little bit when it comes to Leeds United and that permanent signing, and he has said that if Leeds were to get back to the Premier League, he would love to remain at the club, which is huge. It's absolutely huge, and I think it would be Leeds' first signing if they went up 15-20 million. It's a bargain with the amount of money you get in the Premier League as well to throw around. I think it is going to be a bit of a bargain. I do think there'll be a few clubs going in for him. I think that'd be naive of us to not think that there would be. But Rodon has got to be one of the first signings that Leeds United make alongside a couple of fullbacks if they are to go up. But, it's a little bit tentative now, isn't it? We're all a little bit like, because Leeds are in third position all of a sudden, and it's not that top two anymore. But Leeds have got to get back there. They've got to get back there tomorrow night. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, I have to say, about tomorrow, because it's a must-win. I mean, I feel every game's a must-win at this moment in time. But by God, off the back of that performance against Huddersfield, which I didn't think was good whatsoever, especially that first sort of 55 minutes, which was really poor by our standards, there has to be a massive reaction here. And we don't want this to turn into a slump, because this top four race, it's not going to slow down for anyone. You can find yourself very far behind if you're not able to keep up with the pack. So Leeds really do need to keep going here. And, people saying it's not a must-win, you need to give your head a bit of a wobble, because every game right now is a must-win. But it's great to hear Roberts' impact, but also Joe Rodon. If we are to reach and get to the Premier League, then he is going to be sticking around if Leeds United are wanting to make that permanent. Fantastic news. But everybody, Stoke City. Now, this was one of the games earlier on in this season where Leeds just really struggled. The 1-0 defeat was a real tough one to take. Leeds weren't really in the game. It was a real battle, and we lost out that night. It was one of the first starts. I think it might have been the first start Gruev had. Perot was playing, Anthony was playing. Strout was obviously in the side. Archie Gray was still at right back. Sam Byron was at left back. So it was quite a similar side to what we're seeing. As I mentioned, Ampadu was in there as well. Nonso was playing. So it was a similar side to what we're seeing sort of week in, week out, really. It was a tough one. I remember it being a tough one. I remember Stoke really pressing us high on our fullbacks. I thought Byron really struggled that game. Archie didn't have the greatest game. And it's going to be fascinating to see this one. A real fascinating battle between two teams. They're off the back of a win, but they've not won away from home since Jan the 13th. And that was a 1-0 away win at Rotherham. You can check out all of the statistics, the previews for the game. Everybody on SofaScore, well worth it. Honestly, it's the best app on the market when it comes to literal. It's got the quickest updates, so it's well worth it. But it's also got player analysis. Honestly, make sure you check that out. It's free with a link in the description below. But in my opinion, it's going to be a tough one. I do think it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be a goal either side, to be honest with you. And why it's a tough one now is because every team is battling. It feels like every team has got something on the line, whether or not it's the playoffs, whether or not it's avoiding that bottom part of the table as well. And teams always at this side of the season seem to get better, whoever they are. And it always seems to equal the equilibrium sort of balances itself out really between the top teams and the bottom teams. You see normally quite a few draws at this stage of the season, a few real 1-0 battles and all this sort of stuff, a couple of tight affairs, and I think that's what we're feeling right now. And from a point of which where we've got a lot of teams in the bottom half, they could be looked at as tough games now, because a lot of them have changed managers. Sheffield Wednesday with Danny Roll, you've got Millwall as well, obviously with Harris coming back in. So a lot of them have changed managers. Our superior quality should oversee them all, but you are going to get, in my opinion, a lot of teams copying what Huddersfield did the other night. Keep the ball out of play, go down, time waste when it's 0-0, frustrate the crowd. So we're going to have to overcome that. There's a lot of things, in my opinion, that Leeds strategically need to get a lot better at. We need to be a little bit more streetwise, but also we need to get better, in my opinion, as I mentioned at the start, at numero uno, set pieces. You know, there's a lot of interesting games coming up now. Look, you got Leicester playing Sunderland tomorrow night. That's a tough game. Got a couple of tough away games of Leicester, and this could all equal itself out right now. It's absolutely mental. Ipswich have got Bristol City at home tomorrow night. Southampton have got Preston at home. We've got to win. We have to win tomorrow night. There is no excuse, everybody. I want to hear your score predictions in the description below. Make sure you check out Patreon, YouTube membership, and all that good stuff, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in a bit.